Yes, prediction.
¿Por qué?
Are you ready? I was born ready.
Obviously, you're a little, aggravated by the line of questioning regarding Canelo.
I don't want to touch this, dirty, so bad. I don't want to touch his name.
I'm working on feeling the art of humbleness. Can you be with me? That's the reason why I'm crying, because I'm not that person no more. And I miss him. But sometimes I feel like a bitch. I don't want that person to come out, because when he comes out, hell is coming with him. And it's not funny at all. It must sound cool, like I'm a tough guy. It's just I hate that I'm scared of it.
It would be awesome to, be being a great war. Maybe with a Mexican.
Let's go. Way pop.
I have to put the joke.
No, hey.
Thank you for playing, man. I appreciate
Good
you.
timing.
Can't put predictions, man, but I definitely don't want to leave it to the judges.
¡Wepa! Buenos días a todo el mundo. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Sunday of recap. Bring you all the excitement and our perspective of what happened Saturday night and also Friday night. We are LongLiveBoxing en vivo podcast. Como siempre, aquí Manny, siempre en vivo. Marrero.
Show del Gringo Hicksa.
Hopper.
Oye, we are always breaking it down like it is, like it should be. Como es debido, como ustedes los fanaticados se merecen. We are about to, and guys, we've been out a little bit. That's fine. That's cool. But you know what? I appreciate the love, the excitement, in terms of you guys are asking, where's the show coming up? Are you guys recapping? We want to hear what you have to say, right? You don't have to agree, right? We can debate about it. But the bottom line is that, hey, we were all three brothers, all for one for all. Here you are, my brothers, bro. Another exciting weekend boxing. Glad to be back.
Man, let's get it. So definitely excited. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. My man JC making it happen. Mark Nash, Clarence McLean, hardest working man in the business. Chicano Prophet El Chile in the house, man. Appreciate the shout out and the love. We are here and we're going to be talking about the boxing sweet science. So let's go ahead and get to it. Ain't nothing to but to do it, brother. Is ESPN bringing back Friday night fights? Whoa!
What's that, Manny? I know you got a lot to say about that one, man. I want to. Should we not bury the lead? I know Manny wants to get
burn the lead.
Yeah, we're not going to bury the lead because we know how Hopper feels about.
Well, I mean, the lead is like Friday night fights are back.
Friday, yeah. No, that's what I meant. Friday night fight. I want to hear what you got to say about
and who knows, Ring City USA or whomever wants to bring Thursday, make it a little bit more interesting. We're still in the summer. Getting hot as fuck here in Texas, but we love it. We had some great excitement, especially on Friday nights, in where ESPN brought another great card, just starting it out. Two great undefeated boxers battling at 140 pounds, the junior welterweight, and that was in Barbosa against Danielito Zorrilla. Listen, man, Hopper, we talked about this before, and we knew the caliber of boxer that Barbosa is actually. And we know the fact that he's an aggressive puncher. He jabs well. He kind of moves around the ring pretty well. And we knew the tough challenge Danielito had. But my problem here is that why Daniel started so late around the fight. We knew, right? We knew what he's capable of and what he's done the past, couple of fights. It hadn't been tough, and he had actually beat the opposition. And Friday night, I don't know if it was because he actually respected Barbosa power. I know that everything and all the marketing was around, how Barbosa has broken noses, how Barbosa has stopped careers from moving on, last four fights. That's what happened to him. And so I don't know if that really got into him, or maybe he did get tested in the first round. But the reality is I only barely saw 3 rounds against Danielito. Barbosa, shout out, man. He's a destroyer. He's going to be a very good contender at the 140 pounds.
It's going to be a hard out.
It's going to be, and right now you did see last night also another huge 140 pounder. So as well, we'll talk later about that. But anyway, it's on fire. It's on fire. And some of these titles are being vacated right now. And then, there's opportunities. Teofimo actually coming back. And we got Regis Prograis. We did a show about him. Can he be beat
Oh, yeah.
nowadays? Let's check it out, archive or anywhere you upload your podcast. That's where you're gonna find some of those great interviews and also great talk about some of the great guys here at 140 pounds. But in a nutshell, man, not disappointed. Only the fact that, I wish I would have seen Zorrilla started a little bit more aggressive. He did it, between the 8, 9, and 10 rounds. And unfortunately, it was short because I think he really popped them really hard. We knew the power. And to be honest, if you look at the record, Zorrilla had more power and more knockouts than Barbosa. But the opposition of Barbosa has been a little bit stronger than Zorrilla. So, but anyway, late start. Good one. I think he deserved respect. And, he lost, but I don't think he lost at all. To be honest, he's going to gain a lot of respect.
It's one of those lose-win kind of fights.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we say that all the time, right, Gringo? In the sport of boxing, it's not even about if you lose the fight; it's how you look in your performance in losing the fight. Because a lot of times, especially with a lot of these boxers, we get caught up in the A side, B side, but it's the reality. The B side fighters, sometimes get the short end of the stick, but they get the high end of the stick in the public opinion because they win that battle. And so the fans want to see him again. And, when you hear his Nanarito Zorrilla's name, you're going to be excited and be like, oh, okay, I want to watch this guy. I want to see what he got and see if he showed some what he can do.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And, what I was seeing kind of monitoring the fight and, going on social media, watching on Twitter, and, that could always be a dangerous endeavor. But you see on there as far as the ebbs flows of how people feel about how the fight is going. And consistently, it seemed like there was a unification in regards to this fight as far as the fandom. People felt like, clearly Barbosa was control, more value, more accuracy, good power, controlled the fight. And at the same time, Zorrilla had a lot of respect as far as his chin. He's still in there. He's the dog. Mm-hmm. That's the things you kind of like to hear. So it was a win-learn. We learned about him, more about Donito, what he can do, and also seeing about his abilities. And Barbosa's still the man. But as I always say, you can't always. I cannot believe my eyes. We gotta look at the numbers. So you gotta look at the numbers, man. It does kind of, if you look at that bottom line, that's a huge differential.
It's a massive differential, man. You're not going to win many fights by great defense.
Yeah,
and 6'3". I mean, it's serious. What was
look at that? Look at that 6th round. He only accounted for 2 punches landed. Man, that's
and he
wasn't be doing that, man. You can't be doing it at that level, man.
And that's some key things that kind of touch on here real quick. So we talked about the breakdown of it. So like total punches. Almost 300 more punches that were thrown overall. That's insane. With a higher percentage as far as like the overall, body punches landed. The jabs is, unbelievable.
Pretty much everything swayed to.
Yeah, everything. So like they say, you can't always tell. It doesn't tell the whole story, but it does tell a big part of the truth.
Yeah.
And so just seeing that right there, you don't always need to see the scorecards when you see something that like this clear and this definitive. So this is kind of how I saw it. And hey, man, it is what it is. We got some comments here real quick. Want to get to right point. Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Right. Good point. Thank you, Mark Nash. Appreciate that. Thanks for tuning in. Clarence McLean still making it happen. So yeah, it was one of those things where it was a great entertaining Friday night fight that you want to see there. Yep. And it had value. You had 2 guys that were ranked. They had something on the line. We talk about there's too many belts, but it was an opportunity to get for a major belt with the intercontinental vacancy, which is fine. I didn't realize I
ranked in the organization.
Yeah, and Daniel Zorrilla, he was actually ranked number 10 for the WBO. So
that's crazy.
He's definitely moved himself up for sure.
Trying to move up. And he's with Miguel Cotto Promotions, right, Manny?
Yep.
Miguel Cotto matches his tough. One thing I've noticed about Miguel Cotto Promotions. He matches his guys tough, man. There's no, once you get to a certain point, he throws you into the fire right away. And we like that, as boxing fans, we need to weed people out. But
and you should see the young talented individuals he still has is still getting developed. And that's what I like about him. He's partnering with To Entertainment, Tuto Zabala Jr. He's also, with Ring City USA, he did a lot of stuff back then. And Golden Boy and him are matching pretty well with his with whatever they got over there. But the point is that Hopper, I totally agree with you. This is something that Puerto Rico needs. Puerto Rican boxing fans also are eager to start seeing some of these great fights and great fighters that are not even, they don't get that attention they deserve. They don't get that exposure to be able to showcase their talent, and they're frozen. They're paralyzed in the island right now because of the pandemic. I can't get fights. I can't get this and that. And then that's the reality. And then you have some of these great talented individuals out here that they don't want to match them with anyone. They're very protective. And so last night, two of the great ones, and this is a very interesting, Daniel Zorrilla and Barboza, Arnold Barboza, they weren't going for a 1 or 2, right? They were not. They were just moving up. I think Barboza now moved up to the 8th spot. Yeah. But typically, fights like this, it's number 1, number 2.
Eliminator, like an eliminator.
Right. So love it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And a lot of people were tuned in. So, I mean, I have the pulse of the streets, as I do, because I have the street cred of the group. Good. And people were definitely feeling that fight. So, again,
it's a lost win.
Learn opportunity.
There you go. Gringo getting all fancy with his definition.
I don't know that many words, but I try to make it happen. G Funky into his house.
G Funky.
Shout out, brother. My man, Bruce Gas. All gas, no breaks.
What agüita today for me?
Café, mi amigo.
It was one of them kind of nights.
When you see water in the Pedialyte, you already know what time it is, brother. Hey, yo. So we already kind of buried the lead for like 11 minutes. We're going for a record here. There's a rumor that Ryan Garcia was fighting last night in LA.
Really?
So I must have missed that.
No, you missed
that notification on my
phone.
Sure
did. You missed it. You went out.
I missed it live. For sure.
But that's fine.
I know you saw the repeat.
I'm sure you were looking at your phone every now and then. Hold on,
I was definitely keeping up. I didn't want to say Ryan Garcia destroyed. Rounds.
Wow.
And then go in the car and cry real quick.
I know, right?
So
why are you crying?
No, it's the tequila. Manny, what's your thoughts, brother?
What's up, Manny? What do you think?
No one's ever done that to
right?
Fortuna.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And even Fortuna has had a lot of battles in the past. And we talked about when he faced Robert Easter Jr., Adrian Granados. Even Jojo Diaz with a unanimous decision win. And in that fight, it was a very good fight, but no one's ever done that. Yes, talked about someone that he's up in age. He may not be the best right now that he was when he was world champion, but I tell you what, very difficult for him to really come in to come inside. Ryan did amazing. Listen, guys, the speed, the IQ, the will that I want, the respect, everything that goes around inside Ryan Garcia's head, which, by the way, shout out to him. He shouted out the number one, the one that moves every individual in this world. God, Jesus Christ. I mean, he is in a different mindset, and you got to be cautious with that. Watch out. Ryan is a total full package.
Thank you, man. That's what I was going to say. You took the words right in my mouth.
Understanding the power he's got with that left hook,
I like
and
this guy.
how he's able to come in forward and lead it with a jab. But guess what? If you block it up here, you know where it's going to go?
Right
down
to
when
the
it
body.
hurts. And he's done it over and over. Did it with Luke Campbell, and he did it again yesterday.
He did it in the 4th round.
Fortuna felt it. He went there. It was like, ow.
He said, oh, I cabrón.
And it was late. It was like one of those 2-second late reactions. Like, you know what I mean? So, and other than that, well-spoken, he still has that aggressiveness, and also the showtime kind of individual performer and trash talking that we want to see, especially at the 135, which, by the way, he had said he no longer wants to be there and challenge someone that I was in shock, and I hope that happens. But anyway, we'll talk about it soon. But man, I love the display, love the performance. Ryan Garcia is for real.
It's for real, man. Thank you, Manny. You took the words right in my mouth, man.
Man, you guys are way too excited.
I'm just gonna ditto that and give it a heart like on Facebook, man.
How sweet.
You took the words right out of my mouth, brother. Ryan Garcia, he has the total package now. It's just about him. I agree with you 100%. It's just about him putting it all together, keeping that focus on the right path, keeping that same energy, because you'd hate to see a talented performer like Ryan be wasted, because he does have the hand speed. And another thing that he has, out of the ring charisma. And that's what you love to see as a boxing fan. Somebody that moves the needle, especially can cross over into the mainstream media. Well, that's Ryan. Someone to grab the casuals' attention. That's what Ryan Garcia does, and he looked phenomenal yesterday, man. And it keeps improving that defense. He's gonna be the one frustrating thing about Ryan though, I think it's time to see him in an upper echelon fight, man, an elite fight. And I know those fights are gonna be hard to make, but I think it's time to do it, man. He fought Luke Campbell and Javier Fortuna, two guys that are no pushovers by any means, and do know as well. And Ryan Garcia he's looked phenomenal, but man, he keeps teasing us, calling out Tank, and I know there's probably like a 0% chance of that fight happening anytime soon. But I understand. And one thing I will criticize Ryan about is maybe choose your words a little better next time. There was an interview he did in the lead up to the fight where he said that Fortuna was gonna box him, and I remember thinking, you mean he's gonna box you in a boxing fight? It's surprising. Come on, Ryan. But other than that, though, man, I'm nitpicking here, splitting hairs of his performance. I can't find anything to negatively bash him. And Ryan looked great, man. He just needs to stay focused, stay on that right track, and hopefully, his mental health is an issue is getting better day by day.
Yeah, definitely, man. Shout out to Dayanara Ugas, man. Love that Avatar brother. Chicano Prophet. Yep, he's was a class act with Fortuna after the fight.
And Fortuna did take the fight on 7 weeks notice, and they wanted the higher weight, 138 pounds. He didn't make the weight. He had to fight at 140. They were still cool with it, and a lot of people were kind of trashing Ryan, like, oh, he wanted the higher weight. No, that was Fortuna's team that wanted the higher weight.
Well, I got to give him props for that, because I think the intent to that was to raise to the next level, and what a better way to do it with the former champion. And then he canceled the fight. He pulled back. A lot of people criticize him to come back and do kind of like a tune-up fight instead of going directly to Fortuna. But he understands my limitations and how far I was with all of a sudden my peak of what I feel was my peak. And last night he said it perfectly.
Queen Ryan.
He said, you know what, Queen Ryan. He said, you know what, the Fortuna was to be at my peak where I needed to be. I kind of stepped back, but I came back and I proved everyone. And I took over where I left before I pulled back from that Fortuna fight. And he made it statement. He made it clear to everyone. I can knock you out by body punches. I can knock you out with my left hook. I can hit you all over the place, because I know and I understand my power, and I know how to utilize it. And that's what I tell people. That's what I tell people right now. It's not that I'm real bullish now about Ryan Garcia and that I'm going all over crazy, but the talent that we've seen in the past. Remember we talked about this, Hopper. Now we're being able to put it all together with a much better mindset. That's what I'm talking about. And this is where, pound for pound champions are made of, when you have that mentality. And then
between the ears,
Goosen has done the
second fight under Goosen.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I'll give my comments in a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the number.
I cannot believe my eyes.
Man, I can't believe my eyes either.
Come on,
the numbers don't lie.
Don't lie.
My sweet lady. So, Ryan Garcia, bam. Hot diggity damn. So
when you get anywhere near 50% power punches, you're gonna obliterate your opponent.
Yeah, and that was another thing too. Like, I know I was not completely clear, on what Fortuna was. I know he was going with that, overhand loop and left, and aka the Luke Campbell shot, and he had little success because he wasn't able to get on the inside, and he had to make a 5-inch difference.
Yeah,
and he wasn't setting anything up. He wasn't.
Ryan, that's another high IQ for Ryan.
That's props to Ryan though. Like I felt like in the first 3 rounds, it seemed like rinse repeat, the same kind of Ryan we saw before against Emmanuel to go. But I definitely saw a big difference, and I love the utilization of the left hook. Man, he was using it like a weapon, and usually against southpaws, that's not usually going to be effective, but it was absolutely, especially as Wild, and he was hurting him to the body. I was kind of surprised that Fortuna didn't go more to the body. But yeah, another thing that's wanted to point out too, as far as what's not shown here, it wasn't just the fact, as far as Ryan throwing more, and Fortuna wasn't throwing a lot. It's not showing here, but on average, he was throwing about 20, 24 punches per round. He wasn't landing anything. So, shout out to Ryan on a lot of different levels, and his corner, to Goosen. That's a big part of it. And to me, I felt like the head movement wasn't there, but because the way he had his guard, with his
a little flat-footed as well.
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean, I saw adjustments, and I was happy with that for sure.
It's showing great, fight by fight improvement under a new trainer. Second fight and the third fight, you probably look a lot better. And man, it was a good night for Ryan, man. I'm not gonna criticize, nitpick on him too much.
Yeah,
I don't spectacularly against a former champion that hasn't been stopped like that. Like Manny said, he looked good while doing it, and he still had that charismatic smile calling up Tank after the fight, and he gave his respects to Fortuna afterwards, saying that
that's what I like
he
about
felt Fortuna's power. So
that's a great point, because a lot of these guys want to set the right example. You got to sell the fight. How do you sell the fight?
Charismatic.
By kicking each other, pushing each other around, press conferences, hating each other, throwing some stuff out there. And some of these hate, it's natural, it's organic, it's good. But at the end of the fight, all right, what are we going to do? Are we going to still hate each other? Hey, we put a great performance. You actually helped me, in a way that I can perform the way I did, and let me salute you, let me hug you, you know what I mean? So that's very, very important.
Respeto, papá, respeto. Así se hace en el deporte del boxeo, ya. Todas las diferencias se caen en el ring.
Completo.
No, yeah, absolutely, man. So, and I do actually want to, even though I feel like that was, I don't know if I put down, that's more on his corner. I'm not really sure what the strategy was again, as far as, but Javier does what he does. I mean, it really kind of was, it's who he is at this point, and he's kind of always been that guy. Actually, one of my favorite parts of the whole night, actually, and it shows what kind of weirdo I am, is when Javier spit out his mouthpiece. Come on, totally OG move.
It's a veteran move, bro.
I love that.
I want to get out of here.
Referee, but I guess there's really nothing you can do. I mean, it's the rules, you know, in the rule book that no one knows. So so shout out to that. That was an amazing, amazing moment. And so got to get out to this comment right here because it's so legendary. Thank you for my brother Chicano Prophet. Wow. Good call, Sean. That left hand was money. No, don't be hating, brother. Hey.
Good call, nice.
My boy Bruce.
Yes, no breaks. Ryan showed he belongs. Tank, T.O., Taylor, all paying attention to him now. Yeah. That's a great segue. It's like you're a part of the show, Bruce, because you are. We got much love for you, brother. What do you guys think about that? Because talk about, other than the mouthpiece being spit out and Rolly calling out Errol Spencer, we'll talk about later. That was one of the highlights. Man, that guy is clearly on something that I need in my life.
I want what he's having.
Please make mine a double. But there was some amazing things going on after post-fight. Sinicia Estrada, still beautiful, still an amazing talent. Can't wait to see her in Fort Worth, Texas, on undercard of Vergil. Man, she's so amazing. She's a woman, and I respect her.
Careful.
Sorry.
We respect you. But
I'm getting thirsty in front of everybody.
You are beautiful.
Yeah, she's Manny. All right.
Settle down.
Yeah. All right. Come on. All right. So, but seriously, what do you guys think about the 140? Because normally when Ryan Garcia talks, I really don't listen. I got to be honest.
Same here.
It's kind of like, but it really seemed like it was for him, how I took it was like more genuine than I usually kind of take what he usually says. But not only that, just from the standpoint, I do think he looked great at 140. I mean, I'll say that. And then Goosen, props to him because I like the strategy they had. And they made good adjustments, especially after the third round and the utilization of the hook. I mean, I was really digging what they were doing, and he utilized his size. And him at 140, man, I really do like that a lot. And the names he mentioned, obviously Tank, and I believe, like my brother Hopper said, that's kind of a pipe dream.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he said Teofimo Lopez, and I can't believe we're talking about him on the show. But both of those names did have me intrigued. So kind of want your thoughts. Manny, you first. What do you think about our brother? Well, I don't know if he's not my brother, but what do you think about Ryan Garcia at 140? What do you think about this? He's not my brother at all. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I kind of got excited a little bit on that. We talked about 140 earlier. And then we kind of spit it out a little bit of what another 140er possibly up there, which we need that, right? We got a lot of titles vacated there, and then a lot of possibilities and a lot of great fighters. I am a little bit disappointed. Because there's a guy, especially was trash talking to us. Well, there's no secret that it's not my favorite boxer, but why won't we want to see Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia to prove that Haney is just still that paper champion? Wait up. Sorry. Anyway, I mean, this will be
here
a
we
great
go. Round 10. Here we
I'm
go.
gonna get a
Round
lot of people
10.
to
Manny
hate
versus
me,
Hopper.
but the reality is
Hey,
that you know, man, Ryan Garcia, what he displayed last night, he showed he can beat everyone. And I mean, you know, and even Haney talked about, I want to see more of him. Like in the first.
He doesn't talk like that. He doesn't talk like that, sir.
That's a horrible Haney impression.
But
he added like 20 pounds in that impression.
Here's the deal. Calling out one of the exciting boxers right now. That it's proven that he fights people. He doesn't, he fights anyone. He doesn't care. I'll move up to 140, move up to 135. Do I move to 130? I'll do that. I mean, he'll fight people. Is it going to happen? I don't know. That it's like a very uphill battle, because it's not a battle between the boxers. I think both want it, but I think it's more behind the scenes promoters, more of like managerial, that I just don't think it's going to happen. But it's like another Spence and Crawford fight, that on the 140-pounder or 135, whatever it is, will bring some excitement. Two power punchers. People are starting to lean right now Ryan Garcia because of how active it is, and how Tank starts a little bit slow. Tanks rely only on that 1 second, 2 second punch uppercut, which, by the way, can actually do some damage to Ryan Garcia. But here's the deal: talk about it, right? And let's make the fucking deal. Sign the contract. I believe Ryan. I really do. And I love the fact that he said, let me record the negotiations so you guys can see, right,
nice.
who's actually ducking who. And I believe he'll do it.
That's what more boxers need to do. Bro. That's what more boxers need to do, man. And then taking a look at the landscape at 140 pounds, because you got to ask yourselves, which fights are realistic? Right. We talk about all these pipe dream make believe fights that we think that the boxers can say, but realistically, at 140 pounds, who do you think he could fight out there? You have a guy who just fought on Friday, Arnold Barbosa Jr.
There you go.
I mean, top rank want to match him. I'm sure the Bob Arum will do fights with stars, and say whatever you want. Ryan gets attention,
and so is Matchroom too.
Yeah, and then Arnold Barbosa, and you also have Regis Progress. I mean, I'm sure that wouldn't be a too difficult of a fight to make. I think everybody there it is right there. Ryan versus Regis.
Remy just made that fight happen, man. He's got connections. Shout out to Remy, man.
Shout out to you, Remy. That's a hell of a fight right there. And then top rank, because Chon Cepada and Jose Ramirez are going to be tied up for the future, and I think Josh Taylor and Catterall are going to have unfinished business. Gonna square that away. So realistically, at 140 pounds, man, I think these guys are best fit for just fighting each other, man. Teo, Ryan, Devin, Tank, these guys, these are legacy fights for them, man. They're gonna. I think they're stuck together for the rest of their careers, man. They need to just make those fights happen, man, because those are the fights that I think the public wants to see. You can feed them all these other guys at 140 pounds, but they're not gonna move the needle like they would fighting these guys.
But here's the thing: that's the good thing, because now you get to fight A+ fighters, and you really get to see. Who actually is the best when you're about to go for that gold, go for the championship. When you have a lot of A+ caliber, and then you got a lot of A- boxers in the 140. That's what I'm saying, stacked as it is, and not to mention there's probably people moving up in 135 as well. They're going to try to get a shot because there's vacated titles. So I mean, I love it. What I'd love to see is a freaking tournament. That would be fantastic, awesome, man. To see
WBSS tournament. There it is.
Oh, yeah, bring it. Take Josh Taylor out. Josh, move to 147 if you want. Let's get a fucking tournament going on and see. And I won't take away, my kind of local sports boy.
Would you put Matias in there?
He's probably in the mix somewhere around there. Let's see what happens.
Matias, yeah, he's top 5 in the ring or something. I think they got him 5 or 6.
No, he's actually, exactly. He's right now at ranked when it comes to the light welterweights.
No, he's definitely ranked.
I mean,
number 2 by the IBF.
I mean, he's ranked so high.
The ring has him at 5. The ring.
Well, they're gonna do Jeremiah Ponce's
Matias is second with the IBF. So, he's fighting Ponce, right?
That's right. Yeah, for the IBF eliminator. So. Yeah. So I'm hearing rumors at the IBF eliminator doesn't happen between Ponce and Subriel Matias at 140, that Subriel Matias will take up Regis Prograis on his offer.
Really?
Yeah.
Rumors.
Wow. If that fight happens, Manny.
That's a very tough
also, I guess we got to talk about that other rumor that, we heard from a good source. And usually when we say source, you know, we don't have one.
Make it up. I make it up.
We actually make it up.
We're our own source.
There's actually
Manny
a good
told me,
source.
Manny's
Source
my
Awards.
source.
Yeah,
Manny or
Manny's our
Gringo
source.
are my sources.
And then Gringo validates it, right?
And then,
Yeah, of course.
And then
I
I
put a
go
check by it.
public right there. We are
All right, so the source of, you know, the mandatory, because Regis Prograis was the mandatory when he had his last fight in Dubai, and he became the mandatory, but he got jumped by not but one, but two fighters for the vacant WBC for Zepeda and Ramirez. So hearing from a very good source that Ramirez doesn't want to fight the rest of the year because he's leaving his dates open for a wedding. I can't make that up.
Interesting.
So there's a possibility that it could be get in where you fit in, where Regis Prograis, our man, the myth, the legend, friend of the show, could move in there and become the opportunity of that WBC mandatory versus Zepeda. All three of those guys need to fight. Like, that would be amazing. So talk about an amazing replacement. So instead of Ramirez, it would be, you know, obviously Regis Prograis. Now, with that being said, now with the recent developments, if that can't be made and then IBF can't be made, then you have outside looking in, you got Regis Prograis versus Subriel Matisse. So
that's fire, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 140 fight. Just got lit. In case you were wondering.
I'd go to Manny's house to watch that fight, bro, for real.
Would you cook, Manny? That's the question.
That's the question. Yeah, he'd cook.
He would.
Yeah, he would.
The source. yeah, the source. No, that's actually that's your brother. Kind of local sports, but no, I think that's interesting. And you know, for me, I'll go ahead and say, and shout out to G Funky because I'm with him on that 100%. That I don't think the Tank fight happens until 147. So I think we're a ways away. These guys are young, man. Think about it. The fight that people are clamoring for, that they're having candlelight vigils for, you know, those guys are middle-aged, you know?
Middle-aged.
Yeah, come on. You know what I'm saying? Seriously.
On the back nine towards the
end. Yeah. You know, Crawford's getting ready to retire, but it still hasn't had his biggest fight yet. He's still the man, but it's not just him.
Wow, is that a Crawford shot? A subtle Crawford shot?
Maybe. No, but it's a shot at boxing, honestly, because he's playing the cards that are dealt to him. So that's what I'm saying. Like, so why hold these young guys that are 23 and, you know, 24 to a higher standard when these other guys have just kind of been playing the game? So that's kind of my thing. I think realistically that as far as the Ryan Garcia fight, and I hope he does stay focused, and I do like the way he looked in 140. I hope that he does take another challenging fight. I don't think Tank happens. So if he were to fight Teofimo Lopez, if Teofimo can get his mind right, or another name, that's the thing, because he's clearly not for belts. Tank is not for belts. You know, they're just kind of they're going for the bigger names. They're going for big money fights. And say what you will, and you know, we've said a lot of things about Teofimo Lopez, but I think with him and his mind is right, sign me up for that fight.
Oh yeah,
a 140.
Oh, yeah. We've said it before.
Yeah. Wow. I think so. I think that would be hell of a fight. Speaking of, man, Ringside Global. In your mouth.
Everywhere. I think he was there in the fight.
Shout out.
Welcome, Bobby.
Got some comments right here from our man Chicano Prophet. Hey, it's natural to be bitter. We've been waiting for Spencer's crossover for way too long.
For so long. Once they announce it, we're gonna be like, finally, really?
Yeah. Be like, oh yeah, $100 pay-per-view. Can't wait to stream that.
And I'm gonna bash someone who complains that was dying for this fight. Now they're complaining, I gotta pay $100. Well, you were dying for it so bad that you knew it was gonna happen.
Oh, in your face, Gringo. He just dunked on you.
Man, he did. I know. And he didn't. He did. It's on the highlight, man.
Scottie Pippen, nuts to the face.
Oh, no nuts, please. Hold the nuts. All right, so we are also talking about opportunities where there's no side of the street. We got to mention Alexis Rocha had a fight that maybe wasn't the most entertaining, even though I think he did
jumped
the best
in right in time. Ringside Global. I know Ringside Global has a lot to say about that.
Oh, yeah. So I really would like to get the thoughts of my brothers, because after Rocha's fight, they kind of mentioned it. And I'm thinking, like, nothing's by accident, especially when it comes to promoters and, you know, networks. They mentioned Alexis Rocha versus Vergil Ortiz Jr. Hopper, what's your thoughts on that as far as an enticing, delicious appetizer fight? Holy crap. Could it happen, brother?
I mean, I think it could happen, but if you're in Vergil Ortiz's corner, why? You know, why are you going to take and this is with all due respect to Rocha, well, if it would kind of feel like a step backwards for Vergil Ortiz, if you get what I'm saying. You know, he should be trying to move forward, securing the title fight. I know that maybe Crawford and Spence have a lot to do with that and tying up the belts, but it would feel like a step backwards for Vergil Ortiz. I think he'd have more to lose than to actually than there is to win. You know, everything is on for Rocha to win. Even if he looks good on that performance, loses and looks good, he's still going to win in the public. And I think Vergil Ortiz doesn't have. I don't know. I wouldn't be too excited if I'm Vergil or Vergil Ortiz's camp, Vergil Ortiz's corner. Like, coming for what? You feel like you're going backwards.
No, that's an interesting point because, you know, and there's always going to be a slanted narrative.
With all due respect.
The network. Yeah, totally. Like they were saying, yeah, they could even have the fight in LA. Well, clearly that'd be in the backyard of Rocha. But I mean, overall, and I would love to hear from the comments from the people that are on live with us. Do you guys view those fighters as the same? Because, like, I know I'm biased as hell. I've seen Vergil since he was in the amateurs, but I'm saying, like, I don't see them on the same level.
Vergil is
no, I don't think so either. Here's this thing. Number one, Vergil Ortiz. Number two,
that's all you need.
Butinitz. Number three, Conor Benn. Number four is Rocha, the number 4 top
distant four. I would call it a distant four too. Yeah.
I mean, is he really that? I mean, he displayed some boxing skills yesterday, which I loved it. But Ron just came in to survive.
I think he's got a lot of go.
He came in to run away and survive and try to see if he can get him in the distance. And that's the problem. When you are hunted by the hunter, which is Rocha, that's when he's at his game. But when he steps up to the caliber of the top other 3 prospects, contenders in the 147 pounds, after that, they're the champions. But here's the thing. The sad thing about it is champions are going to, undispute that shit, which is great. But later on, I just don't see any of these 4 guys fighting each other, maybe with the exception, and I guess Thurman and Inez is being talked about. That
I can see Vergil and Boots happening, right? Just like the Spence Crawford deal. I can see Vergil and Boots happening in 10 years.
And maybe if one of those loses, then probably goes to the 3rd and 4th option. Just keep in mind, I mean, it's just a very, very tough 147 pound that you're going to see a lot of people getting away from that. I'm out of here. I'm going to go to 154 and try to make my way up there. Right, so I don't know. It's a huge distance for that. Not taking it with an away for Rocha. I enjoyed his fight last night.
Man.
I wish it was a little bit more competitive.
Super talented,
but hey,
I mean,
gave me some that.
I just think he's he's got a little more to work on compared to where the other guys are at this point in their career. I think Rocha still needs to elevate himself and a few more things to work on before we can actually consider those great fights, you know what I'm saying, for the boxing fans.
No, definitely. I thought it was just interesting for them to bring, because I really felt like they're strategically kind of planting that seed because they know it's an in-house fight, and there is draw, there is interest. But we want to give respect to Alex Rocha, of course. Let's take a closer look at the number.
I cannot believe my eyes.
And yes, guys, I said it on my preference from top number 1 to 4. Yes, I did.
He sure did.
Say I'm guilty, but I am.
So Veron was definitely there to survive, but he was that was another short notice fight. Like, he was on a 3-week notice.
Damn,
man, those are rough, man. So I know that
you saw Fortuna on 7 weeks look like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's exactly.
And 7 weeks is more kind of streamlined towards normal right? If the guy's active and staying in shape. But Fortuna's up in age, he's long in the tooth. So looking at these numbers, it was pure dominance, even from the standpoint of Veron trying to survive pretty much and not really open up. And that's the thing. Like, in my mind, it felt like Veron was opening up at the end, and even when he opened up, he still didn't land as many punches in the final round. He was just kind of there. Disappointing, but I just thought it was interesting, so I definitely want to bring it up with my brothers and the people in the chat. Speaking of the chat, let's get to some of these out there, shall we? Ringside Global, man, I'll say this. It's hard for those 2 guys to secure fights. I heard from good sources. Many people find them with their bigger names. All right, so that's a good one right there. Appreciate that. Chicano Prophet says, me either. I probably said that way out of context, but it's always great to hear from you.
Look at that JC one. Wow.
JC, Rocha, top 5 for me.
Whoa. JC.
Whoa. Yo,
basketball right there,
man. High heat. Logic. Thanks for tuning in. Conor Benn, with Hearn, Boots, and PBC. Ortiz with Golden Boy.
Yep.
More promotional politics.
That's why I said Boots and Ortiz will happen in fucking 10 years.
Yep.
Once
when it don't matter, when it doesn't matter, exhibition,
Spence all over again.
Exhibition.
Yeah.
It'll be exhibition.
For real, exhibition.
Damn, bro.
The fight you guys wanted.
Oh man,
10 years ago.
Exhibition. Love it.
Yeah,
love
like
it.
Trinidad and Roy Jones. That happened like when it made no sense.
Fucking yeah, they were both. Was that last fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're going with. So here we go. Oh man, JC, he's calling it now, brother. Ortiz Boots 2039. Get your shirts. Get your shirts, baby.
Get your shirts, baby. It's going down.
I can't wait.
Retirement fight.
For those that don't know, we appreciate you guys so much, man, bringing Sunday mornings back. Hallelujah. Talking about boxing, sweet science. But in case you guys didn't know, one of my brothers is Puerto Rican, and they had one of their guys on the card. No, I'm not. It's not me. I'm the gringo of the group. Dang. All right, so
it's that guy.
Yeah, in case you're wondering, and man, he just actually came from Puerto Rico and had an amazing time.
I'm
not curious to meet him for a few moments. Those pictures were amazing. Hot out, chicas. Hot chicas on deck.
Yeah.
So sorry if you're listening and you're a lady, we respect you highly. So
glad you said that.
Thank you. Manny, what
up,
is
man?
your? How do you feeling, brother?
How you feeling, bro?
I'm
Pupilo,
feeling phenomenal with F because PH. It's always been complicated for me. But first of all, I got to shout out to my good cousin Gabriel Dominguez. Óyeme, he is the owner of Palomino Charter. Guys, if you guys are interested to kind of take a little day trip and charter your way to some of these nice, beautiful islands, man, we're gonna put their Facebook page, in clip it in here. They're phenomenal, man. They'll just take you out around some of these islands, park somewhere, just chill, relax. I appreciate what you did to us, man. We had a fantastic time overall. Puerto Rico, man, I love it. I love it. Especially when it comes to like times like this in where the media is just capturing the future of Puerto Rico. And in this case, the talk was all about this weekend and all about Oscar Pupilo Collazo. Oye, I've been so excited ever since, he won the Pan American, games and then got signed in for Miguel Cotto. We did show that time, brighter things in the future for him. And here it is, 5th fight. And he's about to go for a world title. Told you guys, man, the kid, smooth, slick, can move it around southpaw, that can go orthodox and can confuse you back and forth. Vic Saudar, man, vicious. I got to get about to him. He was inactive for quite some time, but he still demonstrated that he has that power on that right hand and kind of stiffed, a couple of times that uppercut, which he did get to hit Collazo and made him go down for the very first time in his career. Both guys went down in the 7th round. Wow. I mean, body punches all around, guys. If you guys see the boxing skills that this kid has, I mean, listen, it's no joke. He can move the ring around, move to the right, move to the left. He can take a punch and he can also give a punch. I know. I get it. I know what you're gonna say. What division is it? Minimum flyweight. The minimum 105 pounds.
No hating for me. No
hating
for me,
man. Because what we did see the display of boxing,
it's a legit boxing division.
We did see last night. It validates what I've been trying to tell everyone for the last 6, 7, 8 months, 1 year. Is the champion number 63 for a Puerto Rican? That's that kid right there. That kid right there. And everything's carving pace into Eric Rocha, which, by the way, Eric Rocha didn't look good against Saludar. He beat him, but he didn't that good. So 2 guys with 5 fights are going to go for the little Reggie belt. But it's a belt. It's a world championship belt that gives him an opportunity. Bro.
It's legit.
And you know what? It's champion 63 right there. Oscar Pupilo Collazo. Keep it. Just clip it. Clip it.
All right, man. We loved it, and we will clip it. And we're going to go ahead and get into a few more comments before we get to news and notes. So again, from my brother Ringside Global, EnVivo was living the life. Absolutely,
I was.
Absolutely.
Well, you guys were out there covering the fights. I was jealous though that Steven. So remember,
our brother.
I saw you guys have fun down there.
Bruce Gass, no breaks. Boots and Ortiz are about the same age. No advantage putting the fight for either of them. Do it in their primes. Plenty of rematches ahead.
Manny. Oh. Yeah, go ahead.
Go.
And we got a comment from my brother Logic in the house. Was a logical comment.
The rapper?
No, maybe. All right. So why can't Golden Boy works with the Zone, work with Hearn, gives Ortiz and Ben? That's more probable in my opinion.
That'll happen with a belt. That'll happen with a belt, but I just don't think it's going to happen right now for either or, just to get that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a fair comment because you know I was kind of mentioning that before. Out of the guys that we talk about, you know, three, you know, however order you have them, Boots, Ortiz, Boots, and then you put Conor Benn in there. Or I mean, I've even heard some people have, you know, Boots. I mean, have Conor Benn higher up there. I'll give the credit and definitely to the Zone and Matchroom. Like they clearly have a plan for Conor Benn. Like they know what he's doing, and it's clear to me what they're going to do now. If it involves
after Eubank, right? Last I heard is Chris
that
Eubank
seems kind of like where they're going.
No,
that's for a while. They really wanted the Adrian Broner fight, but now he's going to fight Omar Figueroa, right?
Adrian's AB's fighting Omar Figueroa.
But one thing for sure is we're going to see Conor Benn on much better fights than any of the other guys because they're going to be waiting for a title. Yeah. And although I think Conor Ben's ready for a title, could be a potential. But I know that Eddie Hearn's going to kind of moving him and getting some more much better, you know, opposition to him moving forward to showcase his skills and prove that, hey, you know, he needs to be moved. Well, I'm sure they got him top number one as contender from all the other ones, but in everyone's list, Conor Ben's still number 3 behind Vergil and Enes.
Boots.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like,
I remember I've always said and I still have Boots 1.
Yeah, I have Boots 1 as well. But I will say that
disagree.
Oh,
really?
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
All right. You didn't just
it's
disagree.
By small margin now, but I want to see what Vergil does to Mackinson. And this coming August 6th, by the way, we'll be there and EnVivo style, and that's going to actually show us a little bit more. And I think Vergil is ready tomorrow, and so is Enes. But I think that Vergil will get a much better opportunity than before Conor does. That's just my view. Which is the IBO? Is that counts for Enes? I don't know.
No, hey, that's a good call out. So just quick news and notes, and then we'll get to final thoughts. So quickly, got to give a shout out to the Boxing Showcase. They did their first card in Monterrey, Mexico. Our man Jake the Snake Isasi did his thing and got a vicious knockdown and looked amazing. And shout out to everybody on the card. Definitely to our man Mark Eduardo Vasquez. He did his thing as usual. Put up a good performance. So shout out to everybody, and shout out to the Boxing Showcase, man, because you know, they're working hard to give young fighters an opportunity.
Put in the work.
You know, throughout Texas and the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and now moving to Mexico and signing fighters from there. They put on the WBC tournament, which been great, and they're signing ladies too. Shout out to the ladies. Speaking of ladies, my brother and I had an opportunity to interview a very impressive young lady, Miranda Reyes, out of H-Town, Tejas, doing her thing, fighting at a 135, and she fights with and is mentored by Marlene Esparza. She's got a great story. Definitely check out the interview and show her some love, man, and follow her. She's got great things. You know, if you're a fan of boxing, and that's the exciting thing, because these ladies, once they identify that they're talented, because these divisions are deep, they get fast-tracked pretty quick. So once you start getting closer to 10 fights, I mean, you find yourself an eliminator and a title fight. So it's pretty exciting to see the development. And from the standpoint of a boxing fan of the man, obviously, it's kind of, you know, I become jealous and like, wow, they move them around quickly because there's less opponents to have fighting back and forth. But just want to make sure we send that shout out and we get to final thoughts. Manny, you got the floor, brother.
Oh my God, I am so excited. Puerto Rico's bringing a lot of excitement inside the ring. You know, last 2 weeks ago, Brian Charity Chevalier, he got to kind of sort of tune up fights, but giving some excitements and some hopes when it comes to 126 pounds. Juan Carlos Lobo Torres also had some action at 140 at one point. He was actually considered a top 10 when it comes to 140-pounder. He is under Floyd Mayweather Promotions, and he actually came back from a devastating loss. So promising. There's another card coming shortly. I just have to speak about this because even though it's trash and shit like that, but it's the YouTube area, right, where they want to be, boxers. And this weekend, there was something unique happening. It was the debut y despedida, donde un YouTuber decidió, he was a former / amateur at one point. He challenged a former, pro boxer in Samito Reyes, and they decided to do a whole telenovela around this stuff. So they met last night, and as expected, guys, you don't play boxing, right? You're trying to challenge someone that has been in the ring with good, tough opposition, and he got and then knocked the shit out. He actually ended up leaving the ring, and that was El Gallo, the producer. Man, just stick to what you do inside the ring. You know, it's not for you. You got to do it outside the ring. So I just have to mention that because you do not play boxing. You got to be cautious of what you do, right? And if you don't train hard to do it, now he wants to fight Juan Manuel Lopez, which is retired, but I can tell you without training, Juanma is going to really shit him down. But other than that, other great boxers underneath of that, some great potentials also fought, gave them exposure. Shout out to Galimbo Sports now putting out some pay-per-views, $10. That was really good for people to enjoy. That is, thank you so much, because Puerto Rico needs that and needs that more to still develop some of this young talent. And remember, we stopped planting, right, and developing boxers years ago. And now we are lacking at that. But right now, there's a lot of stuff happening. We're going to see the fruit of it in the future. A lot to come in, and I'm pretty excited about that. EnVivo.
Hey, all right, man. So with that being said, we thank you guys so much for tuning in, spending your Sunday morning with us, with your brother from another mother, talking that boxing, that sweet science. We'll be back soon.
Hold on, I got a final thought.
Hopper got the rant right there.
One final thought before we go. I want to touch on Pupilo, Oscar Collazo. Manny, we got one too there, bro. We got a champion there too, Mexicano IBF champion Daniel Valladares.
I know.
Let's go. If Oscar Collazo can go to WBA and get that belt with Sosa, maybe set up a Puerto Rico Mexico fight rivalry matchup at the minimum weight. I'm like,
there'll be a unification though,
too, bro. We got one too.
That will be a unification bout. So that would be very exciting because if Rocha signs the contract, now we're gonna get Collazo against Rosa for the Reggie belt, and then the unification of the minimum weight will be.
And then from there, unify against my Mexican champion at the minimum weight.
He's excited.
Hey, we got one there too, bro. We got one there too.
Viva Mexico!
Viva!
Man, can't wait. And we can't wait to see you guys next Sunday. See you guys same time, same channel. We out.
Emotional, damn it.
Peace. Bomba! Hey, champion.